An avalanche in British Columbia's southern interior has killed 3 skiers, a 4th person critically injured after that avalanche swept through an area on the east side of Kootenay Lake yesterday. Beneath is following this for us. And what do we know at this point?
Well, Ian, police say it was around 1 p.m. yesterday when this avalanche hit the Kaslo area of British Columbia. This is in the southeastern part of the province. This is where there's lots of mountainous terrain. Police say that it was in a high alpine level area. So when you're heli-skiing, you're taking the helicopter way up into the mountains and skiing down. When it comes to this particular situation, what we know is that police say that there were 2 groups. They had just finished skiing. They were waiting in the staging area. The helicopter pilot realized there is an avalanche. He sounded the alarm. One of the groups was able to get out of the way, but the other one unfortunately got caught. So those skiers, they ended up getting caught and hitting that tree line and becoming trapped, essentially, right? So what we do know about these victims is that this was a guided tour. So we know that a 44-year-old man from Whistler is among those who died, as well as a 43-year-old from Idaho. The guide was 53 years old from Kaslo, so was a local known to that area. And we also know that the person who is in critical condition right now is a 40-year-old man from Nelson. So the BC Coroner Service is investigating what's happened out here. We also were able to hear from the heli-skiing company, so that is Stellar Heli-Skiing. They have told us that they've acknowledged that, yes, there was a fatal avalanche that happened in their tenure. They said that search and rescue crews were sent out immediately. One of the 3 bodies were recovered. The other victim was airlifted out. And they also said that they are extending their condolences to all the family and friends and loved ones that, are being affected by this situation. Ian, this also comes at a time where there have been high danger warnings for avalanches in BC especially. And we know that Avalanche Canada rated the danger in that Kootenay Lake area as high on Monday. They said that because of the temperatures right now, it's warming, it's not a safe time to go out onto those areas, that terrain. So to really be extra mindful before heading out.
All right, Beneath, thank you very much. Our next guest not only was looking over the rescue operation, but also knew one of the victims. Mark Jennings-Bates is the manager of Kaslo Search and Rescue, and he joins us from Kaslo right now. Mark, your team was deployed to the scene. What was happening when they arrived?
In actual fact, what was happening, Ian, was very positive in terms of the fact that it was a guided ski trip. So everybody was well organized. The response was effective. As you said, there were 4 burials in the avalanche. And by the time our team got there, all 4 had been extracted from the avalanche debris. 1 had signs of life, and the other 3 sadly had no vital signs. And so our team and the team on the mountain administered CPR as long as we were able to before we can get them in the helicopter and get them down to BC Ambulance.
This is a tragedy that touches so many people really across British Columbia. So many of us know people that go on ski trips in places like Kaslo. So we think about our friends in those situations. But you actually knew one of the victims. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I did. And I think our role in search and rescue is to bring comfort to people and find them, rescue them, bring some solace. But it does impact us as well, and that's very important. So one of the biggest roles that I have as one of the managers with search and rescue is to ensure that our team does get access to counselling in situations like this, and indeed the people that we were rescuing. So that process is ongoing, and our team will be getting crisis counselling on Thursday evening. And it's a very small community. Kaslo is probably about the population of a city block in Vancouver. So news travels quickly, and it will impact everybody over the next few days, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to intrude either on the privacy of the people, the victims here, or their families, so we're not talking about who they are or their names. The families can decide the point at which they want to sort of publicly talk about that. And I certainly don't want to intrude on your personal grief or have you lived through it, but I am just wondering if you can give us a sense of the impact this is having on you, because it must have been a tough few hours.
Yeah, it has been, and I think when we respond, again, we want to bring a very pragmatic level of calm and operational control. And so that's what I was able to do, I think, yesterday. And then unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, my emotions were being worn on my sleeve today a little bit in the first interview with Sarah. But that's important too. It's real. So it will be a difficult circumstance to get through, but we will get through it. And everybody needs to be aware that it's time to look after each other, and don't be afraid to go look for help when you need it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good message. Now, in a community like Kaslo, where so many people love going up in the mountains, that kind of complicates things too. Like are people not going up there now, or what kind of impact is it having on those who love to go out and ski?
Well, I think people will take a second look at their plans for the upcoming days. It tends not to reduce the amount of travel in the backcountry. Certainly, the Avalanche Canada reports have an impact on that, but there still is safe terrain for people to ski on if they choose to. It's not a risk that I might personally take, but some people will. And you can rest assured that the group that was out there was very capable and competent and knew what they were doing. And sadly, it was just a scenario where it was the wrong route at the wrong time and was not predictable. So, our hearts go out to everybody who's been impacted by the situation. It was very unfortunate, and I think they did everything to avoid it. But sometimes, it's just that one little thing that we weren't able to predict.
Yeah, the world of heli-skiing, the world of skiing is very familiar to people in some parts of the country, not so much in other parts of the country. And maybe, Mark, we can end with this. What message would you like people who are watching across Canada to hear from Kaslo?
Well, I think we're alive and well in Kaslo. We may not be well at the moment, but we will be back to well. And it's wonderful that people can recreate in our mountains. And the search and rescue world is proliferated with people who enjoy that as well. And so our time is volunteered to help people when they do get into trouble. So yesterday was not the best outcome, but we did respond and we were able to assist. And we will be there in the future for people who have a similar situation. So the mountains are beautiful, and there's a certain solace that you get when you're up there and enjoy them.
Yeah, but before then, as you point out, a tough few hours or few days for people like you who are dealing with the grief as well. Mark, in the circumstances especially, thank you very much for connecting with us.
Ian, thank you.
Mark Jennings-Bates in Kaslo, British Columbia with Kaslo Search and Rescue.